Okay, welcome to the Deep Dives. We dig into the stuff you send us, looking for those surprising insights that help you get truly well-informed. Today, we've got a question that might sound a bit out there, but maybe it's closer than you think. Are you sitting on, like, a major untapped asset? We're talking about your backyard, seriously. This deep dive is all about this booming trend, tiny home rentals, how it's becoming this, well, legitimate way to get passive income, create cool vacation spots without all the hassle of buying new property or flipping houses.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty elegant idea when you break it down. Essentially, you're putting a compact, stylish little unit right there on your own land. Could be a tiny home, could be a prefab cabin, maybe even one of those fancy repurposed shipping containers. The point is it's self-contained or private. Got its own bathroom, bed, Wi-Fi, all the basics for someone to have a really memorable stay.
Yeah. That idea of a private little retreat, yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But why is this taking off now? What's the big driver here?
Our research points to a couple of, well, pretty big things. First off, this huge shift to remote work, it's totally changed how people think about travel.
Definitely. There's this massive demand now for unique escapes. Somewhere cozy, maybe a bit disconnected. People seem to be actively hunting for, like, hidden gems instead of just the usual hotel.
Right. So if your backyard offers some peace or privacy or even just something novel, suddenly you're in the game. You're competitive in this changing market.
And what's really interesting, I think, is the startup cost. It can be surprisingly low compared to the potential return. The data we look at suggests you could get set up for somewhere between, say, $15,000 and maybe $30,000.
Okay, 15 to 30K. Still sounds like a chunk of change for some folks, but what's the payoff look like?
Well, that's the kicker. Our analysis shows that investment, it could potentially pay for itself, like fully, in just 1 year.
1 year? Seriously. Yeah. And after that point, it's pretty much mostly profit coming in. We're seeing these places rent for, potentially hundreds per night. Depends on the location, the amenities, obviously. But it really makes you look at that empty lawn differently, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Hundreds a night, paid off in a year. That sounds almost too good to be true for some listeners, I bet. I know what you're probably thinking. What about the roadblocks, the zoning laws, getting permits, hooking up water and stuff? That feels like where it gets complicated.
Right. And those are definitely things to consider. They're real hurdles. But the source material we reviewed was really clear on this point. It kept describing them as, quote, hurdles, not deal breakers.
Hurdles, not deal breakers. Okay.
Exactly. People are doing this. They're navigating the rules, finding ways, and in all sorts of places too. Suburbs, out in the country, even tucked away in city corners. It's, it takes work, for sure. It's not effortless, but it's definitely doable.
So it seems less about just building something and more about a different way of thinking.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's kind of a mindset shift, isn't it? It's not just real estate in the traditional sense. It's about looking at any space you have that's maybe underused and seeing it as, well, an opportunity. That backyard, maybe it's just for grilling now, right? Or storing the lawnmower. But it could be transformed into what our sources called a cash flow engine, just sitting there.
A cash flow engine in the backyard.
Yeah.
I like that. So wrapping this up, the big takeaway here for you seems to be maybe the smartest investments aren't miles away. They could literally be right behind your house.
Yeah.
It's about seeing potential, seeing gold, maybe where before you just saw grass.
Yeah. And that leads to maybe one final thought to leave you with. Thinking about this creative income idea, what other overlooked assets do you have? What other sort of unused spaces, physical or maybe even metaphorical, like skills or resources, could you reimagine? What else could be turned into an opportunity?